good with y'all, family? It's your boy, and I come at y'all with a new video today. I'm up early with it, because people, like I said, y'all, they really fuck with these videos, man. And I appreciate that wholeheartedly, man. Because back then, y'all, I used to think about what is it that I wanted to do, right? What do I want to do in life? Do I want to be somebody, or do I want to be of nothing, or do I just want to sit in and hopefully wait for something to come my way, right? But that's when I realized, y'all, that you have to take life by the neck, man, and force it to give you everything you ever wanted, y'all, because life is simply default by the state you are living in. There's no way around that. That's why I say, family, you must really work hard. You must really put your mind to things that you want to do, because life is only going to get harder as the economy starts to inflate, as problems, start to, engrave you in despair, or just, everything feels slow and shit. But yes, God's testing you, man. Everybody's, waiting for you to overcome it too, because nobody wants to see no one down unless they're fucking parasites, unless they're people that don't have souls, because that is true. There are soulless beings among us, and that's why this world is the way it is. Because if it was truly, acting out of abundance, well, we wouldn't have these struggles in life we call now. There wouldn't be no motherfuckers bickering and shit. But this the world we live in, y'all, So, in this video, family, I want to talk about the importance of, how you are looked at, So let's just say, family, that, for everybody who's watching this video, man, first I just want to say salute to y'all for even checking in, We coming at y'all with brand new topics, new discussions, more so just trying to, speak the brain, because I'm speaking to the brain, y'all, So, in this video, family, I would like to get on how you affect the world around you, how you affect it, Strange things will happen on this journey, y'all. A lot of strange things are gonna, and I'm not gonna say come towards you, but hit your brain. Shit from the past might creep up on you, or just things, that are making you look at life differently now, because how you seen it before, y'all, is no more, So that's what's true, y'all. This new person that you have became, y'all, because I'm talking to the ones that are, walking with honor behind, their back, man. Who are walking straight like this, and not fucking, walking like they got cramps and shit upon them, because then you're not aware enough, So, I give y'all this, family, for the ones, that have changed, the ones who have been through that fight, man, because you have to, defeat yourself to come out stronger, right? So, I give y'all this, family. Are you working towards that goal that you're, trying to get? Because, you already don't see life like other beings in this world, y'all. I tell y'all, once you maintain peace and sustenance, and you sustain over anything, let's just say, you smoke, or let's just say, you like to drink, right? But, you keep your energy within you. Well, that's okay, because that's a start. And it always takes discipline, no matter what it is you are trying to get, y'all. People are trying to, get rich and shit the quickest way possible. But there's no easy way to get rich, y'all, unless you sacrifice things that are out of your power, And I suggest it's not going to make you feel better about that, because, people who have got money the right way are the ones who have earned it by putting in, showing up every fucking day, y'all, You want to show up every day, family. You have to show up every day, yo, because this world is gonna test you. You're either gonna break or you're gonna stay strong and be more firm with it, you know. But for the people who have, I don't want to lose y'all with a number because time really isn't real, yo. But what makes the journey real is knowing that the more you know, let's just say withheld energy in you, you know. Because to get this kind of example, y'all, to just think of a battery that is in your car. Now the battery, if your car's, you know, functioning properly, well then your battery's full of energy, full of, you know, this new kind of sensation that it has to it. And that's why, you know, everything feels good about your vehicle, y'all. But you are forgetting the one thing about yours. And it needs, you know, energy as well, y'all, to function properly. Everything does. So that's why I tell y'all right now, family, are y'all truly, you know, protecting your vehicle, man? Because your vehicle is all that matters, you know? Your vehicle is all that matters, family. Because you're like a generator, y'all. You're a generator or you're a time machine, because you have the ability to go back in time, not to visit, but to relive those memories, because that's how powerful you are. But for my people who are over 30 days of straight, you know, semen retention, y'all, I like to speak on this topic deeply, y'all, because it has changed the way I look at life. You know, it will change your fucking brain, and you will never want to be who you once was, because that's what, you know, it embarks you to becoming a better person, y'all. You know, back then, y'all, when you were living in that rubble or that, you know, that pain, when you were constantly thinking about, you know, possessions, more so worried about things outside of you and how to obtain them, or let's just say you were worried about things that didn't even help you or serve you, right? Well, in this, you know, new timeline you have, you know, chose to walk in, you're not so worried about it. You know, you don't care about what others think of you, because you know that you're walking and you know, purpose, but you have walked knowing that you know, lived your life the right way. You know, once you live and doing the right things, y'all, you start feeling very, very, very good about yourself, because only you know what you do throughout your day. So how is it that you would feel down knowing that you didn't do nothing wrong? You know, you're simply living like an organic being, y'all, because you don't have nothing in your brain to make you feel like, fuck, I just fucked up, or like I regret this at the moment, you know? So that's why I say, family, you know, you see life very different, especially after 30 days. But because 30 days is just not even the beginning of the journey, to be honest, y'all, you know, it takes about a good 6 months, y'all, to really see what I'm talking about. Because, you know, a lot of people, you know, I have seen them partake this journey, but it, you know, it they just say it challenges you, it challenges everyone differently. So there's many people who have, you know, conquered it, and like I say, I'm one of them. But there's also many in this world that are not of, you know, what I'm telling y'all, family. And that's why, you know, they simply live in a physical dimension, or they live stuck to things that are, you know, holding on to them. It's like not letting them go in a way, right? That's only because you don't have the energy to see through this world, because you don't have enough energy in you. You know, you might not think that shit don't mean nothing, but the energy over time, it adds up, and it starts changing the way your body starts, you know, functioning. And that's why you're not the same person you were no longer back then. You know, back then, y'all, I would have never seen myself get on the camera. You know why? Because, you know, I lived so physically to the point where I was worrying about everything outside of me as well. But, you know, once you graduate and shit like that, once you start living on your own and start adapting to this world as knowing that it's just you upon everybody else, well, that's what makes you want to do something, or it makes you want to, you know, not just chill, but you also want to act and be something, because you realize that no one else gives a fuck about you. And the best way to put it possible is by making the world respect someone who has chose to be something and not just to stay on the sidelines, right? It's easier said than done though, y'all, because not everybody can do this. That's why I say you are the 0.0.1 percenters, y'all. You know, and I'm just helping the pack to remember why the fuck you feel this way. If you are truly like, a caliber of myself, family. Life is much more peaceful on this kind of, spectrum, because the more you vibrate higher, right? You start to realize that pain and problems and all this kind of, let's just call it this evil fantasy of a world we was taught. It no longer exists on those higher realms because you found peace, y'all. Peace is not even speaking, but it's feeling what it is that you know is pure, because your body won't lie to you, because that's what it truly thrives off of. So remember, y'all, your body, it's smart, it is intelligent, y'all. That's where computers get their technology from, because how advanced your body reacts to things that you either put in it or things you choose to stay without. And your body gets stronger if you work it out, But I said in my previous videos that a lot of people will not like this newer you. That's because they can't resonate with you, y'all. You're like a tower, right? But the thing about your tower is that you have everything running properly. Everything's, and the tower that you are in is currently invisible to the most around you, because they don't even see it. Because in order to see something of your caliber or to feel you, they would have to have that energy to resonate what it is that they're looking at, because otherwise they ain't gonna be able to get near you, or they gonna just look heavily disappointed in themselves when they come around you, because they know that what the fuck they are doing, it makes them feel stuck, But yeah, family, this is the video, knowing that over all those days that I chose to stay lost, eventually I had to wake up one day, y'all, just like you. If you're watching me on the other side of this camera, you're trying to figure out what's your purpose. The only thing I can tell y'all to do is to keep holding in your nut. That's the most logical way I can, give you this term of aspect, y'all, because that's literally the power that you need, because that's all you need. It will reveal everything to you in timing. That's why I say, man, if you really choose to embark on a journey like this, y'all, you must not worry about the days. You must not worry about the problems or the battles that come with it. You just may want to be straight up with yourself and tell yourself that, I gotta live presently every time, or the things in the past, or things that are upcoming will fuck you up and hold you back, right? For myself, y'all, I never looked at this like a challenge, because if I had failed it, I would have got back on it. But as where I'm at with it now, y'all, I have mastered myself, and I say that with a smile and a glow, because it is shown to you, y'all. It is shown to myself, most importantly, because God's revealing to me that I have put the hard work in to gain substantial, or and if you want to say a good effect, But that's why I say, y'all, it's not just about attraction, or it's just not about, trying to please everybody. It's okay to help them and guide them, or just to be around them so they can feel good about themselves, y'all. But your power is simply, knowing the battles you've been in, and you simply are won. You have won because you're still here now on the journey. That's why every time I wake up, y'all, or someone like myself, you feel fucking amazing. You feel like you could conquer anything that comes your way, y'all, because you conquered the biggest, if you want to call it fish in the sea, or the biggest, monster there ever was, which was you. You conquered you, y'all. And if you can take back the power from you, yourself, well, no one really can get that power from you, y'all, unless you choose to do things that will, harm yourself. But that's why I say, y'all, for people who are going 30 days, or they can't even get over a week and shit, well, they're gonna, be struggling all their whole life, man. But this is the easiest and most best way I can define it for y'all, because I don't care what anyone says, y'all. You can't function at your highest, or you can't be at your peak, y'all, if you don't have the energy within you to give others that charismatic effect. Because your charisma, man, it starts to walk with you. You know, you find more peace in being alone than with others, y'all, because you rather be a peaceful person who feels good instead of worrying about people who are, vibrating so fucking low that they talk about things that don't serve me nothing. People are worrying about, games, or they're worrying about, worrying about the news and shit like that. But that shit ain't got nothing to do with me, y'all. How can that help me? It can't. Only thing it can do is distract me from where I'm going. So that's why I say, man, all this entertainment and shit like that, y'all, it will just question you to a point to where you feel like this shit ain't it, and it's not. That's why I'm here now, y'all. Becoming my own boss, becoming someone that I always seen, because if I seen that in others, y'all, well, it's only important to put it in myself first, because this is my life, y'all. I have to do something with it, y'all. And I know what comes with it, Maybe an early death could eventually lead that way, because everyone that stands above something, y'all, is always targeted. Because, like I say, you're truly a genius like Neji, man. And in this world, y'all, geniuses don't live long, but they live the life knowing how fucking real they were. And that's all that matters, y'all. It's better to be real and die than rather be fake and be alive, y'all, because you're not, happy about what you are doing. So that's what I tell y'all, family. I hope that for all my chosen ones out there, y'all, all the, light bodies, keep going, man. Don't stop now, y'all. You came so fucking far. People ain't gonna give you, a shake on the hand or, keep going, because they don't see life like you. But I do, though, because I've been on this journey for so long. I've been on this journey for years upon years. And those failures, they taught me how to, step above it all and walk like a statue out here in this motherfucking world. Because, a friend could be a friend today, and that friend could be an enemy tomorrow. That's why, the more you stay on the journey, you realize that self is your best friend. No other way to put that. Self is your best friend, family. Remember that. Or trust a chosen one like you, because they have been through it. So they're only telling you what they have seen or endured, right? So that's what I tell y'all, family. Don't just think that, I'm going to try this out. Or, let me, stick to it. But are you ready? Are you ready? Are you truly ready for what comes with this? Because it's not just holding in your nutsack and, trying to crave power. Or, yes, you will get stronger. Your stamina will increase. You will become, more attractive, more dominant, more so confident. Not because, you look at yourself like a strong being, but because you know that you've been living a life full of purity. You've been living life knowing that you've been abstaining from things that will cause you to die faster. So, of course, you're going to feel good about yourself, because you're living a life fully of peace. And that's what I say, man. Not only those good things that I'm telling you about, but that's what should make you want to be on this journey regardless, y'all. When you lose your seed, you feel the worst about yourself, man. You don't even want to look at your fucking self properly, y'all, because you look stupid knowing that what the fuck am I doing? That's for everybody who has dropped that, because, you start feeling it down. You start questioning yourself, or you're just not, comfortable on how you are feeling, because the more and more you do that, the more feminine you become. And as a man, as a king, as a dominant leader or a hero in this world that you want to proclaim yourself as, they don't do that shit. You don't want to lose your masculine energy that you were given upon, because it's not just about attracting the feminine presences. It's about protecting yourself. It's about making sure no feminized man out here tries to, take you down because of how he feels and his insecurities upon him. So That's why I tell y'all what needs to be spoken, family. The journey is gonna help you indeed. It's gonna protect you on all levels. As long as you have that shield, as long as you don't give your aura up. Unless, the only way I suggest you to give it up, family, if you are choosing to, is if you have a wife or your lady is truly on the journey like yourself, to where she's trying to better her life up. She wants to, make peace with you. She wants to, she'll show it. You don't really have to do much, because your aura is, like I say, gonna give them a peaceful feeling about them if they feel good and they are truly living peacefully. But if they are doing things that they don't even like about themselves, they're gonna truly, avoid you at all costs, because, that light that you have is shining so bright that when your ass walks around them, they see their problems, because they see someone like you, y'all, and you look perfect. They say no one's perfect in this world, but you give up perfection because you've been taking time your whole life to better up. You're upgrading, man. And the upgrades never stop, because the more and more upgrades you get, the more stronger you become. And that's why I say you'll eventually be able to go years upon years on this journey, y'all. Because you're not looking at women or like objects, If you look at a girl like damn, I just want her body and shit, well, your body's possessed by emotions, man. So, you're someone living in a fucking conjuring, man, because you're conjured up by all these fucking demons, y'all. And in this world, you're not gonna survive like that. You're gonna be outcasted, you're gonna be killed, or you just might endure trouble, because that's what you're attracting, y'all, simply by living in that way, when most of this world lives that way. But what I say, I hope you take it to heart, family. I'm back, y'all. But remember, this is what comes with this. And I'm gonna tell you right now, as a person who didn't even worry, because I was smoking. I know about the journey, but I'll be smoking that. I was smoking that cannabis, right? Because it enhances you once you know its true power. And that's what led me to go long streaks and to stay on this journey, because I started feeling the effects of the journey. I started feeling my energy rise. I started feeling this peaceful sensation about me. And then I studied myself so deep to where I looked at how people would treat me. Most people would, hold doors for me. They would love to be around me, or they would love to just spark a conversation with me, right? Because I always attracted people no matter what. They always came to me because they fucked with me. They sensed that realness about you, because that's how much power you have in your ball sack. Fake and real cannot coexist. That's why the real is always going to know the real, and the fake are always going to choose the fake. But, I have took on this journey because I wanted to better my life up. I wanted to live feeling like a king and not a fucking peasant. I want to live knowing that I'm not a slave to nothing. I desire pretty women. I desire a good reality. But do I chase, or do I, try to take over things that I have no control over? Fuck no, because it doesn't truly have nothing to do with me unless it wants to do something with me, or it wants to better up, or become something, or to elevate together. But that's why I say, family, you don't just want to give that energy up to nobody. If she ain't someone that you truly want to call your wife, or you're not trying to give this woman a baby, there's no reason you should be losing your power, because you're just weakening yourself, man. You're looking dumb out here, and you're wondering why people are treating you with disrespect, because they sense that you are weakened. Your aura is not holding your ass, together anymore. So you feel down, or you just feel like shit. Straight as that, But the weed, y'all, it helped me go longer streaks. It helped me go over a whole year, because most people want to talk about how weed is bad, or they want to how, it makes you, want to go fuck everybody and shit like that. Well, that's because that's how you using the if you want to call it, I'm not going to call it a drug, but I'm going to call it the antidote, because that's what helped me. It's not going to help everybody, yo, because not everybody knows how to, handle things, because They just can't. They don't have enough self-control. Self-control gives you everything you want, man. But just know that the weed, y'all, I'm speaking from experience, y'all. So I'm not telling you to do weed, but do what makes you feel good and do what makes you, feel like you can handle. But that's how I knew this journey was real. People say it's placebo, but that's because they don't have enough patience to, live like this is forever. Because if you are trying to do this journey and hoping that you end up losing your energy in 3 months, let's just say that, I'm a random being, y'all, and I'm planning to go 3 months and then I want to lose it. So what's the fucking point of harnessing that energy, y'all, if you're gonna give it away again? You worked so hard to lose it all. And I'm gonna tell you right now, if you do that, you're gonna feel this endless regret. And nothing's gonna be more regretful than that because of how you once felt in that moment, man. That's why I tell family, everything's about a feeling. You want to feel good about yourself. You want to know that I'm doing the right thing. That regret will haunt you more than anything in the world, y'all, because you did that to yourself. That's why I'm speaking from existence and from example and from the trials that I've been through, y'all. You don't want to lose your energy, y'all, if it ain't truly for someone that you want to be with forever, because it's not about what society has taught us. Fuck society and fuck the way they taught you something. It's about knowing what you want, because this is yours. It's your energy, y'all. Trust me now, you will find foreverness in something or someone if you are living this way and you practice what you are preaching. You don't gotta follow, the media. You don't have to follow what the fuck you see. That's all an illusion. It's just to trap your brain, because if they can keep you asleep, well, then you're gonna be a good sleepy little servant. But you become someone of a monster, or you become someone of a true dragon, because you gain, attraction. You become the intimidation factor. You become someone with endless amount of energy, and you're just not backing down from nobody, yo, because you don't give a fuck about nobody. You're just so purpose locked into, if you ain't trying to help yourself, well, then I can't help you, because I'm helping myself every day. You must want to help yourself before you can, benefit to me, or, so forth and so on. But that's why I say, family, you want to hold this energy, man. And you want to hold it for more than months, man. Go years if you can, y'all. I pray that you go years, y'all, because you will see a change in your life, Everything will work for the better, man. You might get treated like, you're invisible, or you might get, let's just say, ignored. People ignore the not retainers, but the ones who choose to, live with life, man, because you're living. They're not. They're living off of, what they thought life was, because they were taught that way. But you're living life truly free, because no one could take away your energy. That's all I can tell y'all, family. As a woman, it goes for you too. You should want to hold that energy, man, because you're gonna glow even brighter than the sun itself. And you think that you have men, swimming in lakes and shit for you. Nah, they gonna be, breaking necks like this everywhere you are going. If you truly, want to start loving yourself and are truly gonna respect yourself to the point where nothing has more power than me. So I'm gonna love me more than everything. So I'm gonna take this journey on, and I'm gonna conquer it. Not to conquer it, but to have more power, to have more gain, and to more respect. So, ain't no motherfucker try to just, talk however they want to you, because you're not going to tolerate disrespect, y'all. You're not. Because you've been respecting yourself for so long, to where you take yourself so seriously that, you're going to look at everybody else as a fucking joke, because if they have the same 24 as you, well, then you only feel sorry for them, because either they don't know about it, or they know, but then they just don't have that. They don't have, if you want to say, no will in them to start something. But this was the video, family. And this video was called knowing what it truly means to be a 0.01%er out here, y'all. I talk about being a 1%er, but that's not something to be happy about. It's going to make you truly sad. It might make you feel down in a way. But don't let that get to you, y'all, because while everybody's out in crowds and shit talking about things that don't serve or don't matter, at the end of the day, you're bettering your life up. You're gaining, information. You're getting stronger. You're glowing brighter. Eventually, your whole fucking body will eventually light up and shit. You will glow like in the dark type shit. You know? But this is not for you to believe it. But this is for you to better your life up. And to hopefully start now. Because I tell your family, one day or day one, don't talk about the weed. Because it's not the weed, it's you. You know? The weed, all it does is it enhances your spiritual abilities to where you start seeing life mentally more. So, you know, as you live in your brain, y'all, you start questioning things around you. You start trying to better yourself up. You might want to do things, you know. It's not the weed, y'all. It's just you don't have enough self-control to conquer, you know, that, like I say, that plant. Because not everybody can handle everything. But this was the video, family. And I'm going to salute y'all on all high heels, man. No matter if you are a pretty woman out here, man. Pretty women. Or you're just, you know, a young, strong male, man, who's living all about his survival, man. You know? I give y'all this, man, because ain't nobody gonna give y'all this the rawest way. I will, though, because, you know, I have nothing to hide. You know, I can go to sleep, and I can go to sleep with no lights on and feel peaceful about myself every day, because there's nothing that makes me feel down. Yeah, I might have regretted things in the past, but we all have, y'all. That's what this journey teaches you, how to let things go. You must let things go, because everything's not going to work out in your timing, you know? But this was the video, family. I hope you know, take time to work on yourself, man, if you have the opportunity to. But remember this. Keep your energy in you, because in moments that you might have to fight, and moments that you might have to, you know, let's just say walk with protection, or let's just say life is heavy, you're going to need this energy to back you up, man, because you don't want to go out in a world like this feeling weak, because you will become like prey to sharks, man. They'll sense that blood or that aura about you, and they'll start feeding on your ass, man. But other than that, I'll see y'all, man.